failure does not mean that you will not be able to succeed.
Right.
Please, when you fall, rise up. Whether you fall 100 times, please rise up. You'll be able to succeed.
We are graced by the greatness of Mr. Kenneth Matomola, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Namibia Financial Institutions Supervisory Authority, aka also known as NAMFISA. Kenneth previously held the positions in NAMFISA such as acting CEO, assistant CEO, as well as General Manager for Investment Institutions, General Manager for Research and Policy Statistics, and I said that one right, Sibs. And at First National Bank, he was the manager for regulatory reporting, and at the Bank of Namibia, he also held various positions in the banking supervision department. His professional interests lies in financial regulations and supervision, as well as market development. He is also the current vice chairman of the Committee of Insurance, Securities and Non-Banking Financial Authorities, a substructure of the Southern African Development Community. He holds a master's in financial economics from the University of London, BCom economics from the UNAM of Namibia, and a advanced diploma in central banking from the Institute of Bankers, South Africa. An impressive resume there. Good morning, Mr. Kenneth, and thank you so much for joining us on Royal Hustler.
Good morning.
Jumping straight into it, tell us a bit about your childhood. What was it like? Were you a hair raiser? Were you troublesome? Did you? If I was to call your parents to find out, like how was he as a young man? Tell us a bit about that journey.
As a young man, I think I can proudly say I was such an obedient child, though a little bit naughty. Here and there, got some hiding from my parents, as expected as a child. Through being inquisitive,
right,
I learned much, and that propelled me to be somebody in life.
Growing up, what were some of your biggest dreams? What problem in the world did you want to solve and just really change?
You know, when I was growing up, I was fascinated about the makeups of mechanical things like cars, machines, and so forth. And then I said to myself, I think I'd want to be a mechanical engineer. And being an inquisitive young boy, I inquired from my teachers and said, how can I become a mechanical engineer? They said to me, look, young man, you need to study mathematics, you need to continue with your physics. I said, great, I will be able to do that. But unfortunately, that dream was short-lived, because at that time, at the school where I was attending, a rural school, a secondary school, in the third grade at secondary school, couldn't have a teacher that could teach mathematics. And therefore, I was so disappointed. But be it as it may, that changed the path of my career. And then I started to be fascinated by being a leader or being a manager of an enterprise. And as I progressed through my university level, I thought to myself, oh, great, I think I need to be an executive of a commercial bank, because I was more interested in what is happening in the banking. And I thought to myself, before I reach my age of 30, I should be a holder of a doctorate degree. Guess what? What happened? I never became chief executive of a banking institution, right, as I thought. As fate had it, I became a chief executive of a regulatory authority, which is not far from where my dream was.
Right.
And my other dream at the age of 30 that I could be a doctorate holder, that could not be realized.
Right.
But I can proudly say at least I enrolled to be in the program of the doctorate students,
right,
where I did my best. But unfortunately, so many responsibilities were entrusted on me, and I said, let me reprioritize.
Right.
That maybe I will continue with that once my responsibility tries to reduce a little bit. So that is how has been my dreams as a young man, in my formative years.
Right. What's very interesting is how you've been pivoting in most of your professional career, but then again the joy that you have found in the current role that you are in. When you wake up and your feet hit the ground, what sets your heart on fire? What motivates you on a daily basis?
You know what really motivates me is what I consider as my purpose in life. I have crafted my purpose in life, and I looked at it and said, what is my purpose? Why was I born in this world? The world has so many billion of people, but each, I believe, has a purpose. And I said to myself, looking at my gifts and talents, and I thought my purpose is to be someone who can save others, as well as creating a peaceful environment where others can, on a personal level or on a professional level, they can excel. And that's through the environment that is peaceful, that they can realize their potential. So that has been my purpose in life. I was born to save others and to create a peaceful environment.
Serving others and creating a peaceful environment. Mr. Matomola, what are some of your earlier influences, the notable ones? Just a couple that you would that you can share with us that helped you along your journey and that are still currently helping you on this journey called life.
I have a lot that I can share, but in my earlier life, as a very young man, when I was at school, always in my class, I tended to be the one who could be in the top three, if not the first one. So I had that going on till I came up to my university level. And what was too profound in my life is when I became one of the youngest teacher in the Capri region in 1990. And that inspired many. So I became a teacher at the age of about 18.
Wow.
And so many could come to me and say, look, I also want to be a teacher. How do you do this thing? And one of the profound thing, during when we were about to get our independence, that I was doing my 1989, doing my grade 12, standard 10 by then. There's got a lot of hype of independence, and we were writing exams.
Right.
And we set ourselves with 9 of us who wanted to attain what they called at that time matriculation exemption. Out of 9, I was the only one who could achieve that. And that was something very great and
Indeed.
profound. And this continued in my life, where when I even came to the university, I never did accounting at school. I never did auditing or whatever nature. And then I said to myself, since I have that passion of becoming an executive in a business, then let me do Bachelor of Commerce. And I was told, look, Bachelor of Commerce is not a cup of tea, and you never had accounting at school. You will not manage.
Right.
But I defied all the odds.
Look at you now.
And I have that. So that is much of what has happened in my life. I have put in many positions where I could deliver because of the character that I have, that I set my goals and I want to achieve it.
Setting goals and achieving them. Mr. Matomola, before we let you go, any life or career advice you'd like to share with our listeners?
What I want to advise the listeners is that, we need to live in decades, where in any decade that you find yourself, set yourself a plan for that specific decade. And within that decade plan, please set intermediate goals that can win your day. Because we know that you cannot achieve things in a very short span of time. So you need to think long term, so that when there is time where you fail, then you are able to pick up the pieces and continue. And resilience and persistence is quite an important ingredient for success. And also when you're dealing with mankind, it's important that you deal with them ethically. As this was part of what I been imparted in me through Christian life, that I grew up in a Christian home. So I grew up with the notion of knowing that you need to be ethical at all time. And what I have recognized in that journey is that when you are ethical, you are able to live in harmony with your fellow human beings. Not only in harmony with your fellow human beings, even in harmony with the creation of God, where you can have the future generation or your generation to be able to benefit from the creation. So that is my advice. Let us be ethical at all times, and also let us be persistent. Failure does not mean that you will not be able to succeed.
Right.
Please, when you fall, rise up. Whether you fall 100 times, please rise up. You'll be able to succeed.
Mr. Matomola, thank you so much for your time. This has been a very inspiring conversation.
Thank you so much.
There you have it, Mr. Kenneth Matomola, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Namibia Financial Institution Supervisory Authority, NAMFISA, talking to us about his life and his journey. Very, very inspirational. This has been your Royal Hustler.
Royal Hustlers was proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation.
Good today, better tomorrow.